Hi, I'm Sabine Dhir. I'm currently the acting director of the Marcel Desautels Institute of Integrated Management. I take advantage of the fact that we work and live and play in a world that is truly interdisciplinary, and there's no reason that that should stay outside the classroom. The cross-disciplinary, really holistic approach to teaching, I think, is the way that we can engage students and ensure that our lecture material actually makes sense to our students. I'm fortunate that I get to work with students who come from a variety of backgrounds and disciplines. Whether you're a student in marketing or accounting or sustainability or strategy, it is such a pleasure to be in a room with people from all of these disciplines who get to work together and watch the level of interaction and the learning that occurs between students. And the reason that I say that that is powerful, as a professor who's standing at the front of the classroom, I have an obligation to teach some material. But I also only have one experience. And it is a shame and a missed opportunity to not take advantage of all of those other experiences in the room. And so I place a lot of agency and importance on every individual who happens to be in that space and who contributes to that environment. I cannot overstate how important peer-to-peer learning is and how motivating and inspiring it is to be influenced not just by the institution that you go to or the professors at the front of the classroom, but the other people who are there with you in this time and in this space. They're just incredible capacity for passion and for curiosity. It doesn't matter where a student comes from originally, what career they imagine that they're going to have, or what it is that they're studying right now. Our students have such a high sense of awareness of the world around them, and you cannot help but bring that into a classroom. In the IMSF, or the Integrated Management Student Fellowship Program that I happen to have the privilege of leading and teaching in, we give our students a chance to work in small groups, to identify a problem or an issue that they see out in the world. And we use what the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals as a framework. And if you allow our students an opportunity to think about and reflect on things that they care about, and provide the support and the little bit of resources that they need, their passion for things that they see as challenges in the world that they want to even try and address is just incredible. And as a professor, my job is to figure out how to meet that, how to meet those passions and ensure students understand how to take an idea and do something that has impact. The one thing that I hope that students will leave after spending time in a classroom with me or in a course that I teach is to understand that one of the most critical things that they can learn how to do and start to appreciate is how to problem solve and how to do it creatively. Never be afraid to ask. Your ability to ask is so important, not only to your learning, but to the environment in which you belong to. Never be afraid to ask a professor about a deadline. Never be afraid to ask for clarification. Never be afraid to ask about the status quo or why things are the way they are. Never be afraid to ask about why some problems exist and why the situation that you happen to be in or that you see other people in is problematic. By asking, you allow people to start helping you answer questions. And you happen to be in an environment here at McGill and at Desautels that is designed to help you understand how to find answers to those tough questions. Sometimes we don't have the answers, and you're going to ask people that don't. But then it's their job to step in and help you figure out how to find those answers. That's how we make progress. And I challenge students everywhere, at McGill and at Desautels in particular, to take advantage of that and to really push the boundary, ask, because you're asking questions that we haven't even thought of yet. I started archery when I was quite young, early teenage years. Archery is something that we consider a sport. In my personal life, it was always considered just an activity. I have been doing archery for many, many years, and only recently I stopped. I would very much like to get back into doing archery. The thing about sports or activities like archery is that in that moment that you're doing that activity, you can't do anything but think about that specific job that you have in front of you. And similar to things like sports like diving, technically, once you master that motor movement associated with archery, you should be hitting the bullseye every single time, but you don't. And why is that? And I think it's that challenge of how do we get over our psychology and what we're thinking about in the moment and very minute things that affect our performance. And so to me, it's a combination of the physical and the mental that really comes through. And personally, I love sport. I think physical activity is something that allows us to explore our boundaries physically and mentally. And I think that, it's one of the nicest ways that we can also connect with other people.